Hello everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm just going to give this a second to pop up on my end. Sorry that I'm just arriving here. There we go. All right. Hi Brenda. How are you? I'll message you later, Brenda. Are you getting any crafting done today? I see there's a few of you guys here. Sorry that we're a bit late in getting going. I'm going to just move this a tiny bit. There we go. Hi, Linda. Now, I showed you guys this card here last night. Oopsie, I've got an extra piece of twine getting in the way. So I showed you guys this card last night. And I said that I would figure out how to do a portrait orientation of that card and then come back tonight and show you how to do that with the same bundle. So for those of you who were trying to guess what I was going to make when I posted the graphic saying what time I would come live, I added in the little honey stick because I wanted to add a punch art bee with the ladybug into the card with the silhouette flower dies from Meadow dies. I think these make really nice silhouettes of flowers. So I went with these again and then brought in the Bumblebee. Did anyone guess that it was going to have the Bumblebee? Hi, Melanie. And the other Linda. Thanks, guys, for joining me. So I will show you guys how to make this little punch art Bumblebee and this card. So I didn't completely do this one the same way as the landscape version where I took this portion from here and flipped it to here. I did tie in a different color, but it is from the same size that would be left over from this panel here. So I'll show you. My plan is to make another one with the opposite colors. So with this one here, I cut a smoky slate and a basic black, and then I used the panel of the basic black from here to make this section here. So my plan is to create another one with the opposite colors. So here's another one where I'll have to come back tomorrow and show you guys that one. I actually won't do this one tomorrow likely because I'm going to have a different project to do tomorrow, and it involves a challenge for you guys. Hi, Melissa and Kim. Thanks, guys, for joining me here. So tomorrow's challenge, I should tell you guys what it is first because tomorrow is my Stampin' Up! Birthday. Does anyone have a guess as to how many years I have been a demonstrator for? How old am I in demonstrator years? Let me know what you guys think. And so my challenge will be tomorrow we're going to do a mystery challenge. So later tonight I will post some measurements for you guys. And then if you guys feel like it, you can prep your supplies and come back tomorrow and join me to do some mystery stamping. So hopefully some of you guys will be up for doing that. Hi, Lori. Melissa, you're really close. It's very close to 13 and it's not quite 15. It is crazy to me that it has been so long. I don't feel like I've been a demonstrator for this long, though it has been pretty much all of my kids' lives. So it makes sense that it would be quite a while because they are 14 and almost 18. So it makes sense that it's been as long as it has. So Melissa guessed 13, Linda guessed 15. It is right in between the two. So it's been 14 years. Craziness. It baffles me that so much time has passed. I guess time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? And I have been having fun. Though I'll have to admit, Melanie, you're right. So I did not think I would ever teach classes. When I joined as a demonstrator, it was Celebration. Celebration used to run through January through March. And I just wanted to take advantage of the really good deal that they had on during Celebration. That's about when you got hooked, Brenda. Can you believe it's been 14 years? So for the first year, I didn't really offer classes. I just shopped at a discount. And many of you know that's when I became friends with Susie. I hosted a party just before I joined. She came to that party with the wife of one of Ryan's coworkers. And then after that I joined, and the rest is history. So we became fast friends, as I have with many of the rest of you guys. And that's my favorite part of this, is making friends, whether it's in person or here on Facebook and the internet, and just building those relationships with those of you guys that I get to stamp with. It's been lots of fun. All right, so for tomorrow, I will show you guys later what the measurements for the mystery challenge are, and I will have a special to offer you guys tomorrow as well. So this is my little advertisement to remind you guys to come back tomorrow for my 14th birthday, and we will do a mystery challenge together. So make sure you guys check back later to see what the measurements are. And then I hope you guys will come back tomorrow and stamp with me. And then the idea will be to get you guys to share your projects that you make with me as well. I can't wait to see them. So, all right, I will get started with this card here. Again, it's using the Meadow dies, and I did not really use the stamp set, but I will show you guys the Quiet Meadow stamp set, because this bundle is part of the 20% off Spring is in Bloom sale. So this one's on sale for, let me just check again, $64.75 for that bundle. And then you get both of these here. And like I was telling you guys, these flower dies are some of my favorite silhouettes. Okay, so I will show you how I cut down the standard size card base from a 5.5 by 8.5 sorry, to get the size that I have here. So I'm just going to bring in my giant cutter so you guys can see. Otherwise it's a little bit trickier to know what I did, if that makes sense. Okay, so you can see here I have this starts off as your 5.5 by 8.5, and then what I did was I actually cut it to 5.5 by 5.5. So you start with you turn it into a square, and then this panel here will become this panel on the front there. So just like we did yesterday, now of course I went and hid that card, where I cut off the panel behind here and then rotated it to create this panel here. So it's the same idea, but with this one here, it needs to be trimmed down a little bit, and I need to do 2 of them so that I just wasn't crazy about having the smoky slate on smoky slate for this one. I wanted to bring in the black. So I will alternate them, and I'll do a second project, not here tonight, but maybe I can get it finished in advance just to show you guys the completed project for tomorrow. So now I have this black one to use as a panel, just like I have here. So the smoky slate base with the black panel, and then I'll make the other one with a black base and a smoky slate panel. So those will be for later. But now I can go ahead and trim down my panel from the black one and make this little panel on the front. So it's nice to use these elements together if you have some coordinating colors, especially if you've got DSP that will coordinate with both of them. Then you can just mix and match your layers and make use of both portions of your cardstock. So this piece needs to be cut down to 4 3/4. I just had to remind myself what that was. Okay. And did you guys notice this old cutter has this little magnetic tray in here? I've discovered it's a good little spot to keep your Stamparatus magnet. I've needed somewhere to put it the other day, and that's where it landed, so that worked out well. I also want to show you guys, as we're going here, I'll show you one of my other go-to stamp and die sets that is also on the 20% off sale. All right, so I'll show you guys everything else that I have for the supplies. I went and put them on the Simply Scored, and I need it. So wouldn't you know, that's how it goes. Okay, so we have all that stuff. We have a whole little treasure chest of supplies to use. So for this now, I will just take that 5.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock, and I'm still going to score it at the 4 1/4. So score that there. And now I can get rid of this thing. I love that thing. You just definitely need some room to be able to set it up. So Brenda, tell me what you're most hooked on. What do you love to use most? I always love to know what your guys' favorite things are. So I'm going to move these aside while you guys tell me. How about you guys all tell me how long you have been demonstrators for? If you're a demonstrator, or how long you've been stamping for. That might be the easier question. How long have you been stamping for? I also need to cut this little piece of DSP, and that is from the Pattern Party Host DSP. If you guys don't have this paper, it's amazing. It has so many different patterns and a ton of sheets with it. It has black and white on one side and then nice colorful patterns on the other. I apologize. There goes the dog. And I want to cut this one at 1 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to trim it down to 5 1/4 first. That way I still have a good sized piece here. And then I'll trim this down to 1. I usually try to assess my DSP or paper to see, of the scraps I'm cutting from, what's the best way to cut it, whether I cut the length or the width first. So that time it was better to save this bigger chunk than just to have a longer piece that was this wide. So that's why I did that. And then I also need to cut, I have a piece of this DSP from the Brights DSP stack. So you guys have seen me use these DSP stacks a lot lately. Again, same as yesterday, I was telling you guys, this is my favorite pattern in those stacks. So I've got that one there. And I want to cut this one here also to be 1/4 of an inch smaller than the layer it's on. So it's 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. The kits are great, actually, and punches. I'm with you. I love all the coordinating dies, but I love the ease of a punch. Punches are just so easy to use. So I already trimmed this to 4 1/2 earlier, and now I just need to cut off a 2 3/4 inch piece. Okay, so this can be saved. So now we have, and then I also did a 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to show you guys all these layers. And then you can, I almost feel like this should have been mystery stamping. What do you guys think? I feel like it could have been. I don't need this other gray one. We had it prepped, but I wanted to be able to show you guys what to do, how to get down to this size. Okay, now these are all just for decorative layers, so I can show you guys those after. So what I have is the 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 base, which is, I need to move this out of the way. This is too cluttered. It's driving me nuts. Okay, so we have the 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 base, which is what I have here. Then I did a 4 by 5 1/4 liner, and I decided to add texture because just like yesterday, I felt like it was a little bit plain, so I added that texture in there. I'm not sure if it's too busy. You guys can let me know what you think there, but I decided to texture that. This is technically going to go on the front, but it will fit here. That is 1 by 5 1/4. And then this panel here is going to go on the front with this here. And this one is 3 by 4 3/4. And then this one is 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. This one here is also 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. And it's going to line the inside of that because I textured this. We needed somewhere to be able to write. So I decided to just line it on the inside of this here. And then because it's only attached by that little slightly more than a 1/2 inch section here along this fold, I felt like lining it here would give a little bit more stability to make sure that that stayed nicely on this little flap. So hopefully that makes sense. Customer for 13 years. So you've been stamping for a long time too, Melanie. You have probably seen a lot of trends come and go and come back again, actually. I feel like there's things like the soft pastels, for example. Those were the chalk pastels were around when I first started, and now the soft pastels have come back. And Linda for 18 years. So Linda, you've been stamping longer than I have. I was a paper crafter before. I did scrapbooking, but I was not really into stamping. And I'm not sure that I would have foreseen that I would ever stamp before that, but of course now I love it. Okay, so we have all of these base layers, and then now I'll bring back in all of the extra little elements that I have. So this one here is going to line the inside of this. I was going to put it here and I just didn't feel like it was quite right, so I moved it over here. I'm not sure if I love it, but it works. And then I have this flower here. Again, those are both from the Quiet Meadow. So we have this one and, oh, the other one's hiding. I think it's in my tray. Yeah. Sorry, I have a magnetic tray by my stamp cut and emboss machine, and sometimes they get tossed back in there if they are in use at the moment. So this one here, the hexagon is from Beautiful Layers, I believe it's called. And that is in the January to June catalog, and it's got all those fabulous hexagons. So I use that there. And then I have the ladybug punch that I am going to use to make this little bee. The other element I was saying that I wanted to show you guys that is one of my go-tos is the Sweet as a Peach. I use this one all the time for these little greetings. So the Let's Celebrate You is one of the ones I use the most, and I love that with this little die here. You can also just cut yourself a little strip of paper and then cut little angles on the end. So you could do this type of greeting with almost any greeting set where you have little greetings. Just cut yourself a strip, stamp on it, and then angle the ends. So that one's a pretty easy one to do, but I do use this a lot with the little Let's Celebrate You. And that one is also on the sale for, let me just tell you guys, are you for real? It is $44. I can't believe that bundle is only $44. Sweet as a Peach with the peach dies. I might have to come back and demo that one for you guys. I could also add you into our launch from last May, and I did a whole demonstration with that set. It was the one of the ones that I featured. All right, so now we're gonna punch some pieces, get these out of the way, but we need to punch some pieces to make that cute little bumblebee. It's adorable, the little bumblebee. All right, I'm just dropping things, don't mind me. So I have vellum, and I have some black cardstock. I keep my scraps, so those are handy for that. And some Daffodil Delight, if I didn't say Daffodil Delight. So I actually need to punch the body. So that's this section here of the ladybug punch. This one's in the January to June catalog. So you want to punch a ladybug in the yellow. And then I'm going to punch a ladybug in the black, the body. Has anyone here ever used this ladybug punch to make a bumblebee? Have you guys tried that yet? I saw a project today. One of you guys sent it to me. It's adorable. Angie Judah in the States, she turned the ladybug into a little bunny rabbit. It is so cute. Now, if you love punch art, you guys will have to check that out. I feel like I'm going to need to make that with you guys too. So then I took the vellum and punched the wings with that. And then I did these ahead of time. You guys probably don't need to watch me cut little skinny strips of black. So I have some strips. I won't need all of those, but when I cut them in advance, I just cut a bunch of them for myself. So I will have to make more bumblebees. So then what you want to do next to be able to get the bumblebee is I just cut straight across from, I actually need to cut the yellow, the Daffodil Delight. So I just cut his head off. That just sounds terrible, doesn't it? I'm really not that mean. The bunny is so cute, Melanie. Be sure to check it out. Okay. So now we're going to glue this, the yellow body, onto the black body so that his head is left showing. His, her, I don't know, that's supposed to be a particular boy or girl. There we go. So now we're gonna glue that on there. And then I just took the strips, and I'm gonna start with that one. One of them is a little bit crooked. I can see it already. So I'll just put a slight amount of glue on there. Of course it wants to clog now, right? And if I squeeze that, it is going to come out in the most gargantuan blob. There we go. That happened yesterday when I was showing you guys. I think it was yesterday, right? Okay, so now I just glued that straight down. And then you can flip it over and use the back as a guide to trim off the sides. And I probably should have moved that card so that the offcuts didn't fall in there. Then you want to just take the offcuts and we're going to glue that below there. I don't know if this is how everybody else has been making bumblebees, but it was what worked for me. Now, I might even need to do a third one. My first one only has 2 stripes, but this stripe is a little bit more narrow, so I feel like it's going to need a third one. There we go. Punch art is, I love the effect of punch art. I don't always take the time to do it, but whenever I do, it is so worth it. Okay, this bumblebee needs a little bit of work, but he's gonna do for now. I should have gone with slightly wider stripes so that it didn't end up with a black one there, or I could have even moved these up. It's too late now, but that's okay. And then what I did to attach the vellum wings is I put little glue dots there. If you don't have something that you can hide the glue dots with, then you could always attach it a different way. I have seen where some people have put a little gem over top of the glue dot. So that's just on there with a glue dot. I'm going to put a little twine bow on mine, and that'll work okay. But isn't he so cute? Or he or she? I just think they're adorable. That little bumblebee. I haven't even made the ladybug yet, but that is something I'll have to do. All right, I didn't realize it would be so shadowy in here at this hour, so I apologize. You guys have to contend with this big shadow. I'm trying to stay to one side so that it doesn't cause such a dark spot there. Used some of the black and white striped DSP. Oh, that's smart. And then you just colored in the white. Definitely go for that. That is, which DSP was it? Let me know. I'm just taking the little negative pieces out of here. All right, now I'll take my little greeting. I'll get all my stamping done. And then we can just assemble. So I have the little Let's Celebrate You. And then I'll just stamp that. Try to not get my head in your way. There we go. It's a little smudgy actually. I have a second one ready to go. I always die cut myself extra of the greeting labels just in case I do that. I do not like a smudgy greeting. I don't notice it when other people send me a card with a smudgy greeting. I just notice it when it's my own. How about you guys? I just love getting cards, so I should probably apply the same rule to myself and just assume that you guys won't notice either. But when it's me making the card, I like to not have that. Okay. So now what I'll do is just attach these layers. So this is Daffodil Delight. I have a little bit of a frayed edge on here. So I'm just gonna clean that up first before I put that down. And when I do this, I just take like the slightest hair off So I'll show you guys. It's just this much. So it doesn't really change the size that I'm working with. It just gives me a crisp edge instead of having that frayed bit. So here I will just attach that Daffodil Delight to the basic black. I'm just going to get my Stampin' Seal. I have no problems using Stampin' Seal when I'm attaching DSP to cardstock. I just don't use it for a lot of other things, but it's super handy for this purpose, I find. What do you guys use for attaching DSP? And do you use Stampin' Seal for everything or just for certain things? Now I'll also use that to attach this DSP. I like how quick it is for using with DSP. I should have burnished this fold too. So don't mind me. I'll just have to hold that, switch hands, and burnish this fold. I feel like I have pieces all over the place because I do. It's chaos. Now, the only thing I don't like about it is that once you stick it down, you don't have as much wiggle room as you do with Tombow. When you use Tombow, you've got a little bit of grace period to wiggle it and put it into place. So that's there. Now I'll go ahead and attach this to the inside. This one I'm not going to attach with Tombow or tear and tape. I'll actually use, not Tombow or seal. I will actually use tear and tape so that I can get a nice hold. When it's got so much texture like this, I just find that I prefer to use something that's going to have a strong hold. With all those little pockets, I feel like Tombow might get lost in the little hives as opposed to holding it down, but it might still work okay. I just don't usually give it a chance. Paper from the All Together collection. That is so smart. I forget about that paper sometimes. It's a good black and white one though. It's so neutral. I need to remember that that one is there for projects other than that. I did use it for something else when I first got it, and then I haven't dug it out a lot more since then. I'll have to give it a try though. Okay, so that is on there now. And then we can add this to the front. So this is going to just get centered as best as I can. So centered top to bottom and centered side to side. And just like yesterday where I had this panel here overlapping the front panel, and I wanted to make sure my dimensionals stayed within this portion here, I need to do the same thing with this one. And I need to make sure that the tape, I'm going to use tear and tape for this, I want to make sure that it only goes over top of where this little flap is. So it can't exceed where this edge here is, or it will tape our card shut. So I'm just going to center this on here. And then, I'm sorry, you guys have to hear Ruby barking. And then I can take this tape and run it along here, and it is not past where this smoky slate edge is. That way I know when I peel the backing off and flip it over and stick it down that the tape will be in the right place. I'm sorry, she's like so noisy out there. I think someone's trying to get her to stop barking. We have a grocery delivery, and so a friend is bringing groceries by, and that's probably what she's barking about. Okay, so that's on there, and then this one here that is the same size as the Daffodil Delight is just going to line the front, the inside, sorry, not the front, and then we still have a place to write with. And I also attached this one with tear and tape. Hi, Joanne. And hi, puppy. Yep, she's making some noise there. She's like, hello, somebody's here. Come see what's going on. She did her same thing today when I was downstairs. I was labeling blends while I was on the treadmill, and Ethan told me that she was just looking sad at the top of the stairs, laying down by the fridge waiting for me to come back. I don't usually use tape edge to edge, but because this is also kind of acting as a mechanism to hold all this in place, I did for this one. kind of went against the grain of what I normally do. So I'm just revealing one side of the tape first so that I can get this in place. And then I'll reach in there and I'll take the others off. So this side does not have the backing removed yet, so I still have some wiggle room because I'm holding this one away. And then I can release that there and press that down. Now I have this room to just reach in here and peel this back. Peel those off. There we go. Now those are stuck down, and I didn't have to worry too much about letting it grab the paper before I was ready and before it was aligned. We'll also just put this one. I used little glue dots. If you used adhesive sheets, then you could just die cut this and then the whole back would be sticky. I didn't do that though. So I'm just going to use some glue dots. Would you guys believe I ran out of the Stampin' Up! Glue dots? I do not know how that happened. I usually have a stash of like 4 extra boxes and they ran out. I was convinced I had half of a bin full and they were all gone. So I am using these tiny little guys and I'll have to, whoops, pick some up locally until my order gets here. I do have to place another order. Speaking of, for those of you who have signed up for our Waves retreat, we have posted the supply list. So if you are in need of anything to finish your projects, you can let us know, or to be able to do the projects, you can let us know. And if you need any help determining substitutions, we always like to post the colors we used, and then if you need help to sub them out for a different color that is similar, you can just message me and I'll help you guys figure out what you might need. So now this one here is the Hive from that beautiful layers set, and I'm going to dimensional that. I cut it out of gold foil. So I will dimensional that one down. I'm excited about the Waves retreat. I can't show you guys the projects here because they will be exclusive for the members until they've seen them. We can share them afterwards, but up until then, we kind of keep it a secret for them. And I really like them. I'm happy with how they turned out, so I can't wait for everybody to get to make them. And then we'll be posting the tutorials soon for the people who are doing the not online only version, sorry, the access only version. So I did not put a dimensional on this end here. It's overlapping the edge there a little bit and I don't want that to be taped shut. So I just did that there. And then this is going to get placed over top of here, but I am going to dimensional it up top here, but not down here. How about the rest of you guys with the snow? Those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, you probably saw that I just posted pictures of our backyard. I think we all have a ton of snow. I hope, honestly, that I'm ready for spring, but I do not want it to melt too fast. I don't want to know what'll happen if that happens. Joanne in Saskatchewan, how much snow do you guys have there? Is it a lot? My brother is actually bringing my mom into Winnipeg today. So my brother lives in Regina, where you are, Joanne. My mom's in Brandon. And then, of course, we're in Winnipeg. So he is bringing my mom in to have she has some skin cancer and has to have it removed. So that's tomorrow. And we have 2 cases of COVID in our house, so unfortunately she cannot come stay here. So he happens to be going through Brandon and coming to Winnipeg. So he's bringing her along, and it'll be interesting to know what he says about the snow in Saskatchewan versus Manitoba. I'll have to talk to him and see what he says. So that is just dimensional along the top. We were clearing snow away from the house today in hopes that it will not cause any issues. So now I'll dimensional the little bee. I think the bee is so cute. I think I don't know. I love ladybugs too. You have tons as well? Oh no. It's sort of like a catch-22. I know that some of the farmers are saying that if it melts too quickly, then it'll be too wet to be of benefit. So last year was so dry. I hope that all the snow will help them and not hurt them this year. So I just angled this little guy here. And then I'm going to attach a little bow. I did the same thing. I think I did this yesterday. I just have to look. On yesterday's project, I showed you guys how I just cut a length of twine and then I pulled 2 strands out. These ones are already done, so it was not quite that easy to pull that out, but I just pulled 2 of the strands. It comes with 4 strands. So on here, it's 4 strands thick, and I just cut a length and then pulled 2 strands out. So I'm going to do that same thing. I've already pulled them out. I'll just tie the little bow. And I'm going to glue dot it in front of that glue dot there. And I'm putting this on first because I wanted that to trail underneath my greeting. I love the bee version too, and I think I'm gonna have to go and make one of those little bunny rabbits too, because it's just adorable. I am a sucker for punch art bunny rabbits and these bees as well, but we did years ago, we did a scrapbook page. I used to run a scrapbook club, and we did a page that was like punch art bunnies and Easter eggs and baskets and stuff like that. I loved that page. It was so cute. And then now the greeting is going to get dimensionaled over top, and then I'll clean up the tails. So they're very long right now, but I will clean that up. So with the greeting, because I dimensionaled it, I have to, please do a video. I think I'll have to do that because it's just adorable. Again, it's not my idea, but that's okay. We cannot all come up with everything ourselves, and I always love it when you guys use an idea that you've learned here. And I was chatting with somebody else about this today. She had shared something about how we shouldn't feel like we can't do something if it's already been done by someone else. That, like, why do we feel like it has to be our own original idea, not just in crafting, but just like in life in general. So the idea was, like, go down the cereal aisle. There are lots of fruity cereals. One company didn't not release a fruity cereal because someone else had already done a fruity cereal. They just made their own fruity cereal or their own chocolatey cereal or whatever it was. So just because an idea has been done before, it doesn't mean you can't do it. You can either do it the same or do it differently. And I think the same goes for crafting. And I don't ever create projects so that anyone would feel like, oh, they can't do that because I did it first. Absolutely not. I share things so that you guys do feel like you can go and create that as well. That is like the whole fun of sharing things, is to inspire you guys to be creative and put what you're purchasing to use. So please, if you ever see something, you are welcome to go forth and create. I think that's the whole spirit of creativity. Okay, so now I need to triple decker this one, if you can believe, the other end, because the bee is already dimensional and so is the hexagon. So this one is like a triple stack. It's kind of a lot, but that way it keeps it all balanced out. And so when you're doing a double decker or stacking dimensionals, you just always need to peel the backing of the previous one. Otherwise, they will lift off of each other. I say that because one of my helpers one time, one of my boys, was helping me do swaps, and he double deckered all the dimensionals because he's like, well, that's something I can do. So he double deckered all the dimensionals on the greetings, but he didn't peel any of the backings in between. And like, in his defense, he didn't know. I didn't tell him. He just went ahead and helped. So we had to peel them all off and redo them. All right, so now I can just trim those little tails off. And I liked how that little one there, I think I need to take a little bit more, just came between the bee and the label. I'll take a little bit more because that's a bit long still. There. And it's just missing the embellishments. These are the classic matte dots. I love these guys. You can see I've used all the white. I've used a lot of the black. I need to still use up some of the gray, but perhaps the gray I might use on the other version of this card. So these guys here will just go. I had one little black one go missing. I don't know where it is, but it threw off. I love how these ones come with one large and two small. So you get a nice, you get your odd numbers and you can place them in a triangular pattern. And that's what I typically do, is the large and then two small. So it was perfect for me, but I lost one small one off of one of my sheets. So now it just threw off the system. These ones you probably actually could color the vanilla ones, and I bet you could probably turn the gray ones black. I'm gonna have to try that now and see if that works. It's been a while since I have colored embellishments with my blends, but I bet you that is something that I could do. So there we go. There is my Quiet Meadow Bumblebee card. I love the, there's that little black piece. I knew that that went flying somewhere. Get rid of that before it sticks down and rips the card. But I love the color combination of black, gray, and yellow. Thanks, guys. Hi, Jessica. How are you? It's definitely adorable, but there's tons of ideas out there if you guys just search. I searched, oh, I think I did Ladybug Bumblebee and came up with lots of ideas of how people have used this one. I just needed to know how they made the bumblebee because I knew what I was doing with the layout, because I wanted to take yesterday's layout and just flip it the other orientation, but I just wanted a visual of what the bumblebee looked like. So you guys could probably do that to find the bunny, but I'll make sure that I do come back and share the bunny with you guys as well. So for tomorrow, just a reminder, I will come at 6:30, and I'll remember that it's 6:30 and not 7. I don't know what I was doing yesterday, but so I'll come at 6:30 tomorrow, and it will be a mystery card. So I'm going to come back later tonight. I need to finish up the card, and then I'll post measurements for you guys. And then hopefully some of you will join me tomorrow to create your own card along with me. And then I'll have a challenge for you guys so that you can look for that post and share the projects of what you guys have made for a chance to win some birthday giveaways from me. So I'm excited for what those giveaways will be. I will have 2 ways to participate. You're going to be able to participate by creating along with me and sharing your project. And then you'll also be able to participate with an ordering incentive where I will be giving some freebies to coincide with my birthday. So we talked about how it's been 14 years since I've been a demonstrator. Yeah, Brenda, I'll do that. I'll post the measurements of this as well. I'll add them into the description, and that way they'll be a little bit easier to find than going through the comments. I also meant to say that if you guys are up for sharing, that is great. If you do, come back and make sure you comment to let me know that you shared so that I can enter you into the draw. I'll do a separate one for this one here. We have a collection of draws we're going to do, and I'll announce those tomorrow for the past videos. But for this one, I will send the winner one of these cards, and then tomorrow we will come back and do the challenge with the ordering discount, and then also the mystery challenge. It's not going to be this one, but thank you, Brenda. And then I'll add this measurements into the description. Does anyone have any questions before we go away for the night? Is anyone stamping tonight? What are you guys working on? You'll have to let me know what you guys are creating with. And I've got to decide whether we're going to do a fancy fold or whether we'll just do a regular fold. What do you guys want to see for a mystery challenge? Tell me what you'd like. I'll hang around for a minute here and see if you guys have any comments to let me know what you might want to see for a mystery challenge tomorrow. Now with the, just trying to think this through in my head, with the mystery challenge, the product part of the prizes, I can't send those across borders, but we could figure something out. Oh, Kathy. Oh, thanks, Melanie. That's awesome. I hope that you're feeling better soon, Kathy. That's never fun when you have to recover health-wise. Recovering from crafting is a whole other kind of recovering, and sometimes we have to recover from crafting too. Do you guys ever find that? I don't know. I recover from crafting by crafting more. Does anyone else do that? Do you just find that you just keep going? All right, so I will, that's good though. You're getting better each day. Little steps every day. So I'll possibly do a fancy fold then. We'll see what I have for you guys tomorrow. But watch for the mystery card measurements. And I will come back tomorrow at 6:30. And then I will have my birthday rewards for you guys. So crafting is your therapy. Absolutely. I agree with that. I think that most of us, I haven't been back to in-person classes yet, but pre-COVID and even during COVID with Zoom classes, all of us were saying, like when we were back in in-person classes, a lot of us would say like that was our therapy sessions, was getting together to craft. And then for the first 6 months of COVID, I wasn't set up to do anything online and wasn't really sure what I was doing. I think we were all just kind of in chaos. So by that fall, when it clearly wasn't going anywhere, we figured out how to get on Zoom, and it was so good for all of us to be there together. We weren't together physically in person, but I would leave Zoom classes and I felt just like I did when I would come upstairs from the studio after class. Getting off of Zoom, it just felt like I had been together with my stampers. So it's been good. It's definitely therapy. It's what gets us through these times. So thank you guys all very much for joining me, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.